your standard has grown. It's a standard that hope to exceed one day, but that's kind of the standard that's in my mind, right? So when people are doing things, it's like
it helps.
Yeah,
it
right.
helps your confidence.
Yeah, right.
What a lot of those guys do is they look at it as a comp, but they also look at it as a job.
Exactly.
They'll have good days and they'll have bad days, and they just look at it as a job. And then if one event didn't go very well for them, they just mark it up and they move on and done deal.
Right.
Like Trey Mitchell. Trey Mitchell won this one, North America's, and we're BSing at dinner and stuff. And those guys at that level, they won't dwell on any particular event.
Right.
Like if they did mediocre in the log, they literally just stop talking about it the second they're done with it, and then move on to the next and move on. Done deal.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Built for War podcast. I am your host, Austin Trotter, accompanied by my co-host, Mr. Michael Musick.
What's up, Strength Freaks?
We appreciate everything that you guys have been doing with the like, subscribe, commenting. It's really growing the podcast. The numbers are getting better, and it's all thanks to you guys.
Dude, literally, my corazón to you, okay? No, literally, like, I appreciate the love. We see those views, those analytics every week. So, yeah, we're just going to keep trying to supply more and more content as we can to keep up with you guys' viewers. So you guys are doing fabulous, so thank you. So make sure you guys hit that like, that subscribe, comment. Dude, I love it when you guys comment. Even if you want to talk shit, I don't care. I just want to hear from you. So communicate with us. And
gosh,
nice.
chaos,
we got babies
dude.
over here trashing shit. Got this guy up on the screen. We'll get to him in a minute. Don't worry.
So yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, please go ahead and check out our website.
Yep.
There you can find all of our hot merch.
Dude, get it.
We'll get all of that shipped out to you as soon as possible after you order it. Otherwise, please just do us a favor. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing. It's just going to help us make cooler shit for you guys.
That's right.
Other than that, Mike, you got anything?
No. Let's get into the bread and the butter of tonight's episode. So here in the for you viewers that are just listening to this, we have a guest via Zoom, the man, the myth himself, Mitch Hughes. What's up, dude?
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
bro. I'm excited. I haven't seen you since Bricktown, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's
bro.
right at about 13 months ago, probably 14 months.
Yeah. I was gonna do it this year because this year they actually did like that 220 pro class and all that stuff. But I was just getting off the backside of OSG. I was like, dude, we'll get into ages and stuff. But like, I just can't compete like I could even like a couple years ago. Like, it's a couple big shows a year and that's it.
It could be tough. I wanted to, but I had to be down in Tucson for work that whole week.
Oh, okay.
So I had no choice but to just skip it. But I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
If I could skip the workout, that would have been cool.
Absolutely right. Oh, apparently we had some buddies from down here run the open class, Saul, and he was like he did it because we hyped it up last year, like the year we competed, and from the videos I saw. It wasn't, dude, the year we competed, way sicker. I mean, huge on those promoters, but just like I think the venue choice, like how ours was like that nice dark light stage, you know what I mean? That feel, the music. Yeah. It was just an ill vibe. And that one I watched it and it looked like a Nationals. Big ass arena, all the lights on, and everybody's down here and everybody's sitting up here and there's no vibe. And like I was like, I didn't really miss out on anything. So
the energy was definitely different. When we were there, it was definitely cool. I tell guys all the time, I would say top 15 guys for sure.
Easy.
We're all podium finisher for Nationals.
Easily, dude.
It was,
that whole class.
It was just stacked and stacked and stacked. It was super cool.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and tell these lovely people who you are? What's your name? Where you from? How old you are?
I appreciate that. So my name is Mitch Hughes. I live in Williston, North Dakota. Most people know Williston as oil country. Oil country. It's the home of the Bakken oil formation. So we are in definitely a large oil and gas formation, and it's been busy up here for a long, long time. Right. So normally I'm working, 60, 70-hour weeks plus the gym, definitely all the time.
Right.
I started competing strongman in 2009, and just for something to do. There wasn't anybody around doing it. There was another guy in North Dakota in Fargo named, actually you will probably know Mike, Darren Heltemes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So he was in North Dakota at the same time. we had trouble training together just because of our schedules, but otherwise
Right.
it was just us two in probably a 4-state area.
Damn.
So I started just something to do, and then now I've done over 50 competitions since then. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember because that was the gym. So for you viewers, we didn't know it, but like it's a kind of, life is a circle. It's so small.
I knew that was coming. It's a circle.
I love those moments when it's such a small world. You know what I mean? Like that.
It really is,
Like
yep.
we talked about it after that show. My brother, because oil rigger and everything else, he's always in Williston, and he used to tell me, and this is back in my bro days, like before I was even a dedicated bro, schmeeds and drinking on the weekends, like that kind of shit. And he was telling me about this gym, and I started noticing he was getting a little bigger, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, like the owners and his wife, dude, they're strong as shit. He's like, I've never seen anybody do that kind of stuff, and I didn't even know what strongman really was, other than the civilians we run into nowadays, like all those big stones, And I remember him saying, he's like, came up to me one day and started getting into the bodybuilding. He's like, do you know who Cerberus Strength USA? I was like, nope. He's like, well, he came and spoke at the gym and all this stuff and trying to get me hyped, and I'm like, don't even care. And then later on, just how life just kind of fell into strongman, everything, and then we met, and then I'm sitting here rocking this shirt right now. I've had this shirt for like 3 years, and this is an OG from his gym that my brother used to wear. And then when I got into strongman and everything else, he understood it was. He gave me that Zadrunas Christmas ornament that he signed at one of your Christmas things. Because I actually, so when he gave that to me, I was like, that's his signature. I was like, he touched that. So I appreciated it. And then when I found out about you, I was like, because I always love these shirts and everything, and then and the meaning behind it and the brand, but then getting to meet you and everything else, it just it's a circle. It's a fucking circle.
Oh man, that's super cool. We take a lot of pride in that. Like meet Matt, we've met a lot of cool people over the years. We started our gym is Full Circle Strength Systems.
Yep.
And our logo, a lot of people might know our logo. There's a Viking head with a barbell through it and big beard.
Yep.
And we started that in 2015 just because we were trained out of our garage.
Yeah.
And we needed a place to train. So we just thought, screw it, let's just start a business. And since then, so 2015 to now, we've hosted approximately 30 meets, combination of powerlifting, strongman.
So sick.
Our whole gym, we've had, it's just back to the basics. Our gym is about 7,500 square feet of just old school iron. We got the turf area field. We got stuff for strongman, powerlifting, grip stuff, arm wrestlers, jiu-jitsu. It's just old school strength.
Fuck yes.
And you don't see many gyms like that in the area.
No, right? And it's that vibe and that community, and you can't buy that. Commercial gym, you can't buy that. You
can't.
You know what I mean?
How is your guys' turnouts over at those competitions? Because I was up in Williston. I was in Williston from 2013 to 14, actually, in the Bakken, and I didn't really notice. I wasn't a gym guy back then, but I didn't really notice a whole lot of people. Is your guys' strongman competitions? Are they pretty good turnout?
They are. So since 2015, the first year we started the gym, we had our very first competition, and we probably had about 19 athletes. And now we average 50 to 60 athletes per meet.
Good.
And that's up to twice a year. We used to hold 4 a year even,
Wow.
But now we've scaled back to 2 a year. We've had as many as 86 athletes in one of our comps.
Wow.
Nice.
Just
so
strongman?
on average, 50 to 60. What's up?
Just strongman?
Just strongman. We used to host powerlifting meets too, but it just got to be too much.
Absolutely.
So now we'll do, 50, 60 athletes. We'll get 300-400 spectators.
Sick.
We really hype it up. So
that's right.
We're inside a big arena. It's a hockey arena.
Yeah.
And we've done some cool stuff. We feel like, and our next one is April 6th. We went unsanctioned. And we're just doing 3 classes for the men and 3 for the women.
Yeah.
Men is under 231 and then over, and then masters.
Yeah.
And we came down with this is our second biggest cash pot we've ever had ever, but this is still, we're giving out $9,000 in cash.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's a big deal.
That's so dope. I know when you told me, I was so sad. Well, not about the cash because you invited me the year prior, and and like coming like again like just I've noticed in the last couple of years just me like my job everything like I've limited my competing from 5-6 times a year to like 2-3 just I do the qualifiers to get to somewhere and like try to get somewhere like bigger picture because my body's just fucking tired all the time. I feel
I've been there too. Like so right now I'll be 41 in April.
Okay.
And I'm 41 and I've done 8 meets. Some years I've done 8. Last year did 5.
See,
when we started the gym, I was doing 1 or 2 a year. I love competing, but it's tough when you're coming from Williston to fly out somewhere else.
Absolutely, dude.
I wish we had a big airport like Denver, but it's tough.
100%.
So some years I've only done 1 meet, some years I've done 8,
Right, for sure.
But
for sure.
Life gets busy.
And when you're trying to build stuff and like by the sound you're an entrepreneur, you work full time, you own a business, you're strength training, and you're growing in that. That's entrepreneurship in its fullest. So it's like that's a fucking like I understand people out there is like, and that's the thing today, right? Is get your grind. What you got for 24 hours? It's like, do you really know what that means? It's a lot of fucking work and it's consistent. Like you've been doing this since 2009 and like that's
2009 and we started, like I said, we started the gym just because we needed a place to train.
Yeah, right.
So we just started it, and now it's become more of a gym. It's more of a family. We got some really, really good people. We got guys coming and going, but at the most part, we got a good core group of people.
Absolutely.
And these competitions just get hyped up more and more because of how the gym goes.
Yeah.
Like this one, for example, we're having 6 events. One's a mystery event. So no one's getting no one.
Right. When are you putting it in the show? Like when is the mystery event? Like what number of event?
It's I think it's event 3 or 4.
Oh, okay, smacked like in the middle-ish. Okay, good. Okay.
Yep. But they'll see it because we're setting up all the events was set up the day before.
Okay.
So the way you run it, everything's gonna be set up prior.
I like
they'll
that.
See the date when they get there, but weigh-ins are the day up too.
Yeah, so they'll get to see it. And you're gonna let anybody touch it?
Super old school.
I like that though. And are you gonna let contestants like warm up on the equipment before, or is that going to be one of those just like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
But that's where they're going to need to warm up.
Yeah.
On it
yeah. Or I mean, I'm sorry, like not warm. Are you going to wait until warm ups of the lift instead of like some people do like a clinic like the Saturday before and like let you test the things, or are you going straight mystery like? You'll see it when you're here all day, but you don't get to touch it until warm ups start right before the event.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
You won't be able to touch it.
Mm-hmm. That ladder deadlift that we did that first year, the year. Luckily, I've done it one other time, and that's how he set it up as a mystery event. He was laying there. I was like, "What is that thing?" And he didn't let us touch it except to try it to warm up. And then he's like, "All right, let's go." So I like that style.
I like it.
I do too. I really do. Well, that's cool. I want to ask about it.
It's changed a lot since I started.
Dude,
it's changed. So because when I started, most guys didn't know about a comp till 2 months, maybe 3 months prior.
Yes.
So like if you guys would get host a meet in Denver May 1st, you wouldn't host it, you wouldn't even promote it you wouldn't even tell anybody until 3 months prior.
Right, right.
And a lot of times you didn't even know the events until closer in. You didn't know the weights or nothing.
Wow.
That's kind of
a lot of it wasn't.
It was kind of a little like that when I had started, because I started about 4 years ago, around the same time, like maybe 2-3 months before him. And it was funny because it was kind of like that. And, mystery events was a very common thing.
It was.
Expect to have at least one in all of these comps. Yeah. And you're never going to know what the weights are until you literally show up, because even if they did post, it's going to be a 600-pound axle deadlift for reps. Mm-hmm. It could have been, 650. It could have been 550. Yeah, it was all over the place. You didn't know until you got there and put the comp shirt on, and then you were told, "Hey, this is actually what it's going to be."
Right.
I think it's fun. That's how they do it in Finland. I've done a couple. I shouldn't say Finland, but SEL.
I was going to say you're an SEL competitor, right?
Yeah, I've done a couple, and I've only done 2, but I've been invited to probably 8 or 9.
No
but with fights and stuff, it just
just a nightmare. Yeah. Right. Yeah, because
But a lot of times they will tell you shit.
Really? But I mean, that's old school style, right? Like you should be a man of strength. You should be well formed, a well-rounded, formed person. And the only time I done that was actually it was my second show, but it was my first open because I did novice and then went straight into the open class. It was that Estes Park every year they do a Highlands one up in Estes Park. And this was 2020 COVID. And because I started on the tail end of 2019. And and I went to this event and they had it all up on the internet for 3 months. It had all these different lifts. And so that's what I'm training. You get there on the comp day and I see them pulling everything out of the trailer. And I was like, why is that? What is that? Why are there stones? There wasn't stones on that thing. And the guy literally walks up, the promoter, and he goes, so every single event is changed. Like not one was the same. And not one single thing. And he's like, this is strongman, adjust to it. And that was it. And he's like, let's get started. I was like, is this normal? Yeah. It's like my first show, I was like, I guess this is what they do. I mean, it was cool. It was definitely a test of, your ability to adapt and endure really fast. And I can appreciate that, I can for sure. And I do value that because I feel like some days too, like, because I feel like half the competitors were like, hell yeah, I like that style, and the grunt. That's how I took it. Then you got the other like little baby bitches that are like, oh, this is unsafe. I haven't trained this, and this shit. And it's like, bro, like, don't bring that into the,
So. I love it. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you competed actually not too long ago, right? Because you just got that big deadlift out in an SL competition. Was that what it was?
I did.
Or what show was that one? What was your last big one you just did?
Last show was Great Lakes Strongest Man, actually, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I had to pull out of OSG just because I did 5 meets last year, and I think it was 5 or 6, and I was just having a hell of a time recovering. My recovery was horrible. I was falling apart.
Yeah.
So I had to back up OSG, unfortunately, and then I actually had a back issue too, where right down my spine, where the left side was fine, but the right side was not cooperating at all. And it come down to is I was doing so much stuff that was right side dominant.
Yeah.
So it just messed me up for a little bit. But Michigan, I had a good deadlift there. I pulled 770 in Michigan.
Yeah.
I think we always have a gym party on New Year's Eve. It's a Christmas, New Year's party. It's kind of a last ditch effort to get a big PR on something.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to lift. I was just going to hang out, have fun. You know?
And hate when that happens.
I got talked to the deadlifting, and sure shit, I pulled a 775.
I saw that. Isn't that crazy? There's I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff. Alex Bromley. He's a power lifter / strongman. I watch his channel, and one of his he was talking about, and he said the same exact thing. He goes, "Isn't it funny how you will prep?" Your meals are on point, your sleep's on point, you're doing your best to recover to prep for a big deadlift. The day comes, warm-ups feel like shit, and it's just a bad pull. And he's like, but then on some random off night, you end up going and having some margaritas with your boys, and you feel like shit the next morning, and then boom, you're PRing. Like he's trying to break down that science of it and stuff. And I was like, dude, that's facts. And I was like, that's so true. So
yeah. It's so wild. It's so fun because it just like that 775 was just so unexpected. It was so smooth.
It was.
Prior to that, between there and in Michigan, I went basically 3 months without pulling over even 400 pounds.
Wow.
Because I was just trying to recover.
Absolutely, right? Maybe that your CNS and your body was finally recovered. So
it finally got recovered enough to walk. So you decided to deadlift. And it worked.
Right? But that's how we are as strongmen. I feel like you walk around every day with aches, pains, breaks, this, whatever. And then when you actually take those couple rest days and you actually feel a little lighter on your feet, what do? It's not like you enjoy that and like to help enjoy life. You're just like, oh, I feel good. We're PRing tonight. Like we're ripping tonight.
Yeah, you don't bask in the non-pain.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, actually, I feel good. Let's go to the gym, go hard.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I can't remember the last full week I felt like that. Sure, maybe like 1 or 2 days, trash yourself right back to normal. So
it's so spot on. It's so spot on.
Yeah, love it though. Love it to death.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
I do too, man. Well, that's amazing, dude. So you're in recovery mode right now, or are you prepping? What are you up to right now?
Actually, for the last 2 weeks, I just started getting a little heavier into stuff.
Nice.
I wouldn't even say really heavier, but I kind of quit the recovery mode deal. And about 2 weeks ago, I just started amping up a little bit.
Yep.
So now I'm finally starting to lift a little heavier.
Nice.
Still nothing insane, but it's all coming back
Absolutely.
pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
I was squatting the other night, and it's, for me, it's nothing insane, but it was just good old fashioned squats with 565, and that was on my second week of
coming back.
getting back up
Yeah,
underneath,
right. You're just starting to train again. That's
Yep. Yeah, it's fun.
damn.
It feels good.
That's awesome, dude. That's so good. And then, so what's your goals 2024? What is Mitch
So
Hughes
2024,
gonna do in the world?
I want to do a few meets, but my wife needs she needs a procedure done on her back.
Oh shit.
So I almost don't want to sign up for anything until we make sure that's taken care of.
For sure.
We have a date in April. We're going down to Dallas for that.
Okay.
So, but most likely I'll probably do a Chad's Koi meet in June.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's July, down in Missouri. I'll
Okay.
probably do that. I want to do something prior, but I might not be able to.
Right.
And then hopefully Great Lakes Strongman, because that's where Lacey's from, my wife. So it's right around the corner from where her parents are at.
Perfect.
So it's perfect. We can stay at her folks' place. We can go over there and compete. So hopefully I'll be able to get at least 3 meets in this year, maybe
Nice.
4.
Okay.
I might dabble and try to do the Shaw. We'll see what happens.
Bro, I was getting ready to say that. I was waiting for you to start picking some of these because, like, you are that level of a competitor. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are. Like in my eyes, for sure. And so yeah, I was waiting to hear those, like the Shaws, the Arnolds. Me selfishly, I understand you have a life, but me as a fan is selfish. I want to hear these things. So,
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I actually felt pretty cool. I'm sure you guys know Steve Foshin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Steve reached out to me here a week or 2 ago and says, "Hey, dude, if you don't sign up, can you help?" I said, "Absolutely. I want to help. I would love to help." So if I miss the cut, God knows what happens. If I just miss it, I'll be there helping. Anyway.
Sick. Well, and, right, just to be around that and those dudes. And I'm so sad.
It's fun.
Literally the Shaw. I live 3 minutes away from that arena because it's right there in Loveland on Crossroads, and I live right behind Shields, which is on 34. I live 3 minutes from that. And every year it's here, I haven't been to it except for the first year because the last 2 years, that's the Texas OSG qualifier, and I'm out of town on the exact same weekend.
Is that the same?
Stuff.
Is that the same this year again?
It's right. We might miss it by a week. We'll have to double check it. But last year it was on the exact same weekend. I was like, bro, I was like, it's right there. I was like, let me see this. And it just keeps getting amped up. I saw it the first year, the second day, and it was so rad. Like, it's just like they did such a good job.
Super cool.
It's super cool, right? And then so to actually be on that floor though, to help out and just be around that, especially of course to compete, be sick. But man, that's
the goal for me to be able to compete. Well, because I think what Steve said and what Brian said, we talked to we saw evolution of our gym, so we talked to Carrie.
Oh, nice.
And they're basically get opened up to the guys that did last year and give them first crack at it.
Ooh.
And then as soon as they sign up, they might open up like 10 more spots.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So when they submit and say, okay, you can sign up right now, God only knows it's probably gonna take 10 minutes before it's full.
Oh, bro. As soon as that alert goes out, done. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just told myself I'll get the computer ready and I'll just be ready to go.
Absolutely, right. Just get notification and be like, yeah, get it going.
Yep,
for sure. Well, that would be rad, bro. I think, your level competitors, because we have a few, and that's so quite crazy. That's what we always talk about. Like in your community, now you've built up a good community, but when you started, Williston, like there's just not a lot of strength community. Where here in Colorado, like it's packed. Like there are so many like high level competitors here, and so
and it's funny too because we talk a lot about now, like with going to OSG, with doing the regionals, with him getting to the finals now. Even though he is a world finals competitor per se, he's gonna have to show up to these shows, these local shows here in Colorado, and still actually compete to get a qualification for nationals. Like the strength community here in Colorado is off the hook. Like there's just strong people in every single class. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and so we know quite a few of the competitors that were in the Shaw. So, and you know what I mean, like Kelly and all these guys and stuff. So, and yeah, so every time I see those guys, and because I always look at the open class, and one day I'm gonna try to be there. That's why I hung out with you guys that time. I was like, I don't give a fuck. These guys are 5 feet taller than me and like 300 pounds over. I don't even care. I was like, so.
It's fun because you start, that community is so small. You start getting to know these guys.
Yeah.
When you run, you might only see them once a year. You might see them maybe a couple months, whatever. But once you start seeing them more and more,
it's like a party, dude, right? Every time you see him, it's like you're competing for sure, but that's strongman. That's that community. It's like a party. It's so fun to see everybody. It's like a reunion. You're like sick, and we get to lift. Yeah. Dope. But yeah, man, I would love to see you on that stage because I absolutely think you like up against Null, and yeah, like you could be that next Tom Evans. One day you're here, next day you're here. Cool. So, and I mean, you're at that.
I competed with him.
Did you with Evans?
I competed with Tom at Arnold. 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh. And that was a shitstorm for me. Tom did amazing. He was so low key. He was just a damn good athlete.
Yeah.
It was super fun competing with him. But I went into that comp at Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
I was out of town for work a month prior, and I tore my esophagus.
Oh, whoa.
That's a wild muscle to tear. How did you do that?
Yeah. Nobody, they still don't know. They think an ulcer blew up, but they're not really sure. So here, training was going amazing. It was going good.
Yeah.
Like I was really thinking like top 10 spot.
Yeah.
And then I landed myself in the ER down in Arizona for a week. No, sorry, 8 hours. 8 hours. But I was shot for. Oh my! I think I ended up losing like 30 pounds a month out from Arnold.
Oh man, just straight liquid diet and like
pretty much. Yeah, I just fell apart.
Can't breathe, can't brace correctly, and like no, that would suck.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh, bro.
I've genuinely never heard of somebody tearing their esophagus. That is hard.
Oh.
That's right. That sounds hard.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Oh my god, that's gnarly.
And I was trying to be low key about it. Like it's like I lost about 4 cups of blood that day. And I'm in the ER, and they're like, "So how you feel?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm all good. I'm cool." Right. Just trying to play it off. I was not good.
Dude, no, there's no way. Like I've torn a hamstring. That sucks. Yeah. I could not imagine, like, you use your esophagus for so much. Bro. Breathing, eating, drinking, like,
dude, I get strep throat and I want to cry. Like, that would suck.
It was a month out from the Arnold,
right? And something you prepped. Isn't that wild? Like, life's a trip. It's like, you're super dedicated, and that's kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like sometimes, it's like you build the body and like what it is, and then sometimes because it seems like we should be hunkered down on a goal, but like life gets in the way, like shit like that. And you know what I mean? And then on a random off chance, you haven't been training, you come back from your esophagus, train like right now, right? You're still building up. You could randomly just like go for the shot and fucking win. It's like, I only really prepped for 3 weeks. It's weird how that is, but then you can prep for 6 months and shit goes to shit. Yeah. Or like, it's wild. Like, because anything can happen.
That's just a sport. Once you realize that, then the sky's the limit, really.
True.
There's so many people that just don't know how to handle that stuff, and then they back out and they never compete ever again.
And never again. Exactly.
Yeah, it becomes such a mental issue to them to where it's like, I did all of this work for what? But at the same time, like how you had said, basically, you could put in all of that work, or you could just go to a freaking comp, not put in any week's worth of prep and take first. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, in that sense of, and like to you viewers, I'm not talking like newbies, just like go do this. I mean, sure, do it. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. But I mean, what I'm saying is, people like us, like kind of veterans, like your diet's always on point. Like you're always doing this. You're always training. You know what I mean? Yeah, you may not be peak training, but you're always training. Like, so your body and you're built, like you're ready to go. I think, and you're at that perfect age right now of just like that maturity, the strength. And bro, I've always believed it. I'm 36 now, and I can feel that in certain things where like, my training changes and where I can't train quite as much. But and then like, I feel like it was when you're younger, it's like, man, if I don't deadlift every week, then I feel like such a stranger on the bar and I can't pull correctly. Where I feel like now, it's like, bro, I need like 3 weeks off and then I pull great. It's like, I'm just, 100%. As long as I'm still, doing my training, hips and squats and, you know, the bullshit. And it just all comes together at certain times. And then, so where you are right now is such a prime time. Then when we went to OSG, bro, seeing like Rhino Heinla, these 50 masters, and just seeing them so jacked, just ripping 800 pounds off the floor and shit. It's like, bro, that's man right there. That's a fucking man. I was like, you know,
and I was actually supposed to be in his class.
I know, that's what I mean. I could see you standing right on that class. So that's what I mean. It's so bro,
It's just, next year.
Yeah, for sure. But that's exciting, dude.
year.
That's good. I'm glad everything's going good and training's going well. So
It's going good. It's going better. That time off really helped.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to a good year. I'm pretty excited about it.
good.
You know, just roll with punches. And last year was a good year. See what happens this year.
Yeah,
and
for sure. Right.
keep trucking away.
I like that. Now, are you doing? I understand, like you're still doing the business. Any like big goals with Full Circle Strength? Are you gonna like start any kind of goals like in that?
We just
area?
yeah, we are. We moved into a new facility here about a year and a half ago.
Sick.
And we're looking at, we've maintained memberships for quite a while and stuff, but now we put a full-time we put a girl on that we know real well, that she came on full-time here last month to help take over social media and kind of push the social media more, start pushing YouTube, start pushing even podcasts maybe.
Yeah.
So hopefully that goes good this year, but that's kind of the goal for the gym.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, you guys have a great brand and like, and what you do, and it's like, and fortunately nowadays, like social media, that's how you promote. You know, that's marketing, and it's really difficult. Same with like these.
Well, I mean, everybody's so sucked into their phones that you'd be stupid not to use it.
Facts, right? And it's
You're
like,
right.
and
You're right.
It's like everybody is just like the door-to-door salesman thing still works, but it's more effective to do something like, like this podcast.
Exactly.
We're reaching hundreds of people every single week just by talking onto a microphone because people have nothing better to do.
And that's pretty much exactly what we thought. Like our areas, there's so many transient workers coming in and out.
Yeah.
They'll get a gym membership for a month, then we won't see them for 6 months. They might be back for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we thought, well, how can we keep basically like their money coming?
Right.
Maybe they'll order more products. Maybe they'll buy online training programs.
For sure.
So we start pushing the social media more and more. We might be able to attract those guys more and more. And who knows, maybe they'll just buy a sticker or a shaker cup.
Right.
But it all adds up.
So yeah, something's better than nothing, especially when, if you can find that margin to be able to get all the product at a decent price and upcharge it, just, that 10% or whatever, that's still 10% more than, and plus it's getting your brand and your logo out there to where people, when they see that, they know, oh yeah, that was from the time that I was in Williston at this gym. These guys are super cool. If you have any question, give them a call. So I get it.
Well, and like, you're not buying a membership, you're buying a community. Like you feel like a part of that family, right? So if they're staying up tuned, right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I may not go back there, but dude, this gym is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like I listen to their podcasts and like you stick to, because nowadays, because of that, and I love the strength community because it's not in vain and it's not nasty, but there's so many brands, people start getting hooked to their factions, if you will, right? Ours is Axe and Sledge, Cerberus, like those are my brands.
Yeah.
That's my friend. That's my homie right there if he's wearing that, you know what I mean? So Full Circle Strength, same thing, you know what I mean? That builds that community and they feel involved in it. And that's what's going to help spread your name.
You're 100% right. We get guys, we actually take a lot of pride in this because it's pretty neat. We don't have any mirrors in the gym. It's just old school gym. In fact, we're probably one of the only gyms that has we have mounts on the wall, like elk mounts, we have deer mounts and stuff like that. This is an old school vibe. And we have that stuff up on the wall. Like it's that garage feel, but it's not messy like a garage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But we get guys that come in, it's professional, but we get guys that come in on their off day just to hang out and help spot.
Right.
Just because of the community.
Exactly.
So they'll drive across town just because they want to hang out.
Right.
So they come in the pro shop area, they buy a drink, they hang out, they go in the back, they help move weight, they help spot, shit like that.
Yeah.
And we love seeing that. Because that community is getting tighter and tighter.
I agree, dude. Yeah, it's just like building little armies. Like, and it's true. Like, we do the same. Like, I'll cruise into the gym early. It's like I hang around, chit-chat with people for 30, 40 minutes before I even start warming up. You know what I mean? Because it's just enjoyable. And then when you get done with your workout, unless you got somewhere to be, like on the off night, I don't have somewhere to be or anything. It's like, I'll just chill. And like, exactly, like your boys are doing spots or whatever. It's like, I'll help you out, bro. Like, you know, and you're just chit chatting. And, but yeah, I love that. You know what I mean?
You know, we did this year. It was about Christmas time. We did this up front. Our store area is about, I don't know, it's maybe 1,000 square feet. So we got products up there. We sell, you know, supplements. We sell evolution products. We sell this, that, and other. And we had a spot on the wall we looked at. We thought, what can we do with that spot? So we put like a 66-inch flat screen on the wall. And we only played strongman.
I was just getting ready to say, please tell me it's on loop strongman.
That's hilarious.
It's on loop.
I love that, bro.
So it's just your training and your competition videos that just play
circle
around.
Yeah, it's like today I walked in there and I looked on the TV and it was 2019 Arnold.
Yep.
And then it scrolled into like 2020, somehow rolled into, it was on YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Wrote invitational from like 2022 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then when I left, it was like, I think USA Weightlifting was on there.
Oh.
But it's all street sports all day long.
I love that though. I mean, that helps motivate you, right?
This podcast is sponsored by Premier TRT and Med Spa. Make sure you guys go over to www.premiertrt.com to get all of your testosterone, hormone, and peptide needs.
Absolutely. And just overall general health. I mean, you guys want to be checked out by the best in the business and people that actually care about you and your well-being and your overall health, whether it's strides and strength, admirations, or just a healthy living style. You guys cannot beat Premier TRT and Med Spa. Great family-owned style business, and you're just one of the family. And as always, get yourself checked.
Either that or go check them out at 12774 Colorado Boulevard, Suite 141 in Thornton, Colorado. Yeah. Go over there and tell Melanie we said that we sent you, you know. Tell them that Built for War sent us.
That's right. You were hanging out with us last night, chilling, and you needed to come get checked. So, bam, there you are.
Yeah. For a low price, they'll check you out. They'll get you what you need and get you out the door so you can be back to living a healthy, lovely lifestyle like everybody else.
That's the American dream.
That's the American dream.
It really is. But no, for real, guys, always we say keep an eye on your health, and there's nobody better.
Yeah.
Premier. And, family, and just, man, you just become one of the family, okay?
You're part of the familia now.
For real. You're under my protection, okay?
Well, thank you for sponsoring us, Premier TRT, and thank you to you.
Always.
We'll see you guys. This podcast is sponsored by Cerberus Strength USA. Make sure that you guys go to cerberus-strength.us for all of your Cerberus needs.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the absolute best. They're coming up in the game. They're owning the game. Cerberus Strength is the best quality product you can possibly wear.
I mean, I tell you what, whenever I think of strongman or powerlifting nowadays, I think of Cerberus.
Dude, I think about Cerberus every day.
I mean, because I wear Cerberus every day.
It looks super sick.
It does. Make sure that if you guys want any of the gear, the equipment, accessories, apparels, they're even coming out with supplements now.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you guys go check out Cerberus Strength.
For real. They're literally one of the best in the business. Probably the best in the business. They're sponsoring everybody from strongman athletes to all the strength sport athletes out there, taking over the game. And you just know you're in safe and good hands when you rock Cerberus Strength.
And make sure that you use our code B4WAR at checkout to save you 10% at checkout.
Absolutely. And their packages always arrive, no problems, shipping, everything. So B4WAR, get you 10% off.
And thank you to Cerberus for sponsoring this podcast.
Absolutely. We love you.
We love you.
I love that, though. I mean, literally, it just, I help it. Like, you walk in, the vibe and then the energy, and then watching that. And me as a strongman, it's like, if you got strongman, I'm getting ready to go do a log session, and they're ripping log and stuff like that. It's like, it's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
It's cool. Guys come in from working all day, and they come in, they buy an energy drink, they might buy a snack, they sit at the counter because there's kind of a bar top.
Yeah.
And then they sit there and they watch the TV for a little bit. And they get ready to go and they shoot the shit and then they change and go to it.
Yeah. I love that. That's what I mean. That vibe is so good. And it's a relaxation. Like, it is therapy. It's your relaxation. Like, you're still working, but it's your way of relaxing in a very therapeutic, but also very progressive. Like, it's very good for you.
Well, and I feel like it's a way to make the gym a more homely place anyways, right? Because we do spend so much time in the gym. I mean,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If we're not at work, we're at the gym. If we're not at the gym, we're at home to see our wives to go to bed type of deal. Right. So
it's the same for me too. Like, I work all day and then I go there, and thankfully I can kind of work from anywhere. So I might work from the house, I might work from the office, and then I might finish work at the gym and then change right there and then start lifting.
Yeah, so exactly.
What do you do for a living? I noticed the email, the very long @
tractorandequipment.com.
I work for a Caterpillar dealership here in town.
Oh, okay.
So my job, I sell heavy equipment in the area, mainly for like infrastructure, pipelines, roadways, that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay.
That's actually what my background is. Before I started my own business, I was a big heavy civil infrastructure, heavy equipment operator. So
okay. Yeah. Awesome. So before this, my family, I'm third generation concrete. We had a heavy commercial industrial concrete company, and that's what I did for my entire life.
Oh, yeah, man, that's hard work.
Yeah.
It sure can be. Yep. And then a lot of that got bought out, sold out, and then I didn't have much going on because I was still an employee. And then I went on to Caterpillar and been there ever since.
That's cool. I like that.
Lacey runs a gym, and it's basically just her and Lexi, and then I come in here and there where I'm needed, and hell, I'm back and forth all day pretty much.
Right.
Now, do you have any kids?
We do not. Nope. Okay. Nope. We were never able to, and then so we kind of look at the gym like guys bring their kids in every now and then to say hi, and then so we kind of get to see them. So a lot of times we just feel like, we're still involved with kids, but we don't have any kids of our own.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely understand. It's a blessing. But at the same time, it is a little stressful trying to balance. Obviously, you saw my son. It's a balance trying to it's a kind of a pain trying to balance that work, dad, and gym life all in one. So it's cool that you allow, the kiddos to come in every so often. And
yep, definitely. For events, they come in, and then they're not supposed to run through. If they run through, I'll jump in there and say, hey, kid, that's
for sure. For sure.
It's just super dangerous.
It sure can be. Yep. But when they are there, it's pretty cool for us. So never had any kids. We never able to. And then we have a dog, and we actually just adopted them. We're adopting another one tomorrow.
Nice. What are you going to
get? So I'm not actually really sure what he is, honestly. He is,
I get that.
He's about 6 months old, and I honestly do not remember. He's got some, our one right now has got some Shepherd and some Lab, and this one's got some Lab and some Great Dane or something. I'm not really sure what it is, but
it's a mutt.
Yeah.
I love mutts.
They're cute.
They're such good dogs. Like, they seem to last long. It's all like the thing nowadays is all pure breeds, right? And it's like sometimes it seems like, hey,
don't talk too much shit. Lucy's a purebred.
Well, you know what I mean though. But how people go so crazy, like they want all those Snow White, labs and shit like that. Spent $4,000 on a dog, and it's like because it's white, and it's like, and because it is purebred and it's so overbred, it's like
a designer.
Yeah, and it's usually they're not the healthiest, but then like there's a million dogs. I'm the same way with you, dude. And he is too. Like huge animal advocates and like adopting dogs. And like one day, if I ever have the money, I'd just be a full-time strongman, live on 10 acres, and just gate it off and buy every fucking dog. And I'd take my golf cart and just go feed dogs. That would be my dream, right? And have a big gym and like the dogs just fucking run house.
That'd be so nice,
right? And just adopt dogs.
That'd be so cool,
right? So
we had our last one. He'd passed away a couple years ago. And he was a purebred lab. He was 11 years old, and he passed away. And then we honestly didn't know if we could get another one. And then this one here came up on our lap, and it was like exactly 6 months later, and we just fell in love with him.
Oh, that's so awesome!
Like, oh man, this guy needs a home.
Right.
So we got him, and then we got another one coming in, and it makes us happy. And we're back and forth all day checking on him and whatnot. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, little fur babies, love them.
So another question that I had for you. What is your favorite implement or strongman exercise, and what is your least favorite out of all of them?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say my favorite one used to be stones, I still love the stones. Um, Lately, I think I've almost gotten to be more. I don't know. Oh, geez, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I
So-
probably it's probably still stones. Stones are pretty fun for me, and the strongman implement, that kind of stuff is pretty fun. My least favorite is probably gosh, Dan, probably it's not my favorite, but I don't hate it, but
Yeah.
it's probably like a curl deadlift.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Front handled or side
Yeah.
handled?
Probably side handle.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
it's kind of a love hate. Like
Mhm.
I don't hate it to the point where I'm just mad at it all the time, but I
Right.
kind of have a love hate with it.
It's not your favorite when you see it in the event. And you're like, fuck.
Not my favorite yet.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
every year it seems like it's something new. I
Dude,
just love
bro.
the sport so much. I think, and
I love it. I love when you get confirmation from other people, right? We literally just on our last podcast, like lately in my lifting journey, that's exactly what is happening. And we were explaining to the folks that like in a long-term sport like this, it's so long-term and things change. And it's weird how like,
Yep.
and it had to do with this competition we're getting ready to do and this pressing event. And it's funny how the way that like, because your body adapts, it progresses in certain ways, but sometimes it like yoke used to be my favorite event. If you saw a yoke, heavy yoke, that's my shit. Now, oh, what happened? Can you hear us, Mitch?
yeah, I sorry, you guys.
Oh, okay. It just shot off our screen and couldn't see your face.
Hold on.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, I can still
good.
see you guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we're
cool.
good. Okay. Cool.
And now it's like because of just over small injuries, and then with this keg press, I used to be a very light, explosive. I'm still explosive. I try to keep it up, but over the years of injuries and like becoming more static, and of course I work mobility, but like you almost change in a sense, and
You do.
you
Yep.
know what I mean. And like now yoke, I despise it. Like, I mean, it used to be like, give me a heavy yoke and I could sit there and run 750 yokes beltless, no problem.
That was only 2 years ago.
And that was 2 years ago. And then just because of like a partial torn glute, partial little hamstring injuries I've been dealing with, and now it's coming back, thankfully. But dude, hate the exercise. Like it hurts. I get up to like 600 pounds. It's like double belt, like knee sleeves, like it's all this and it's crazy. But then, and at that time could despise deadlift because I wasn't statically there yet. But now deadlift's my favorite day of the week. And you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how the body changes like that. So yeah,
It does, and you're spot on. Like you could gain 10 pounds and everything changes again.
dude,
You know,
legitimately.
That's the issue that I'm coming into now because I'm trying to get up to 260 to cut to 230 for OSG.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting around like 217 now. Well, now that I'm getting bigger up top and bigger legs and everything, all of the exercises are completely different now.
Yeah. Positionings
big time.
change.
Yep.
Everything changes. It's wild how that is.
I actually fought my deadlift here a few years ago. Man, I couldn't do shit. I couldn't do anything. But I just kept changing things too much versus just trying to settle into it.
Yes.
And it fought me for like 2 years straight.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do shit. And I think I was fighting it and it was fighting me, but I gained some weight, And then sure enough, I found my spot and now it's
just
going
flings.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's little clicks like that, right? Like it's probably like you find your positioning, it felt better, but it's usually you walk away with that deadlift and it's like, holy shit, my back doesn't hurt. Like we did pretty good today.
Yeah.
And and eventually, and then you do other lifts where it's like, man, that feels like shit all the time. And that's how it is anymore. Like I can now successfully, knock on wood, get through deadlift sessions without a back pain. But then I do yoke and I feel like a noob. I got like yoke fever and I feel like shit. My knees hurt. I'm like, this sucks.
Yoke can be tough. Yoke's still pretty fun. Like for me, it's still pretty fun. And
Yeah.
I'm still thinking like, gosh, dang, like yoke and some of that stuff like sandbag throws have gotten to be really fun for me too. And yoke's still pretty fun.
Yeah.
But then hell, next month it might be different.
Well, and that's exactly it. We could have the same conversation 6 months down the road, and it would be completely different.
Oh, different. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild how even though you're progressing technically in all the lifts, because you're overall building yourself and everything. And it's like, but that sucks. Like, I hate that. You know what I mean? Even though you're PRing, it's like, I hate that. So it's weird how that is. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, last year we did a max deadlift. Or sorry, it was a max wheelbarrow.
Ooh.
You had to go you had to go about 15 feet,
Okay.
and then they would back it up the forklift, and then add weight to it again, and then so it was a max wheelbarrow for about 15 feet.
Fuck.
And I thought I would hate that, then I actually loved it.
Really?
That's crazy.
It was flipping nuts.
Max wheelbarrow. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
I've never done one. I've seen them, but I've never gotten to try one. What was?
It was up in Canada.
Oh
In
shit!
July. Yeah, it was super cool. I didn't train for anything. I found out about the meet like 4 days prior, and I got invited last second. And I went up there, and they had the max wheelbarrow, and it was super super fun.
How did you do in it?
On that event, not bad. It was about mid pack.
Okay.
Overall, I was towards the back end on that whole comp. But I did well in Missouri at Chad Coy's meet. I took first there, and then
Sick.
this is actually North America's Strongest Man I'm talking about. Kevin Fairs got hurt, and they called me because I did well at that meet. And they said, "Hey, it's Sunday. Do you want to catch a flight Tuesday and go up to Canada and compete in North America's?" I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah, right.
So I took it, and I did the best I possibly could with what I was given,
Yeah.
And there was some stuff I did well with, and like that wheelbarrow I did well with, and then other stuff was just flipping tough, just because I not prepped for any of it,
I mean, that's one of like the biggest shows, like North America's Strong. Yeah, it's a big show, and like you weren't training prepped for it, so I mean, that right there is that. That's crazy.
I didn't know anything. I didn't train for anything.
Right. You've never even done a wheelbarrow. You're like, what do you do? Oh, okay. Max? All right.
Even better.
Yeah.
What's
there
that
were
thing?
some studs there. There were some badasses there. And I was just trying to hang the best I possibly could.
Yeah,
and I feel like I gave it a shot for what it was.
Absolutely. Right. And then that's how you have to look at these kinds of things. Can't take that as a loss. It's like, dude, you weren't even prepped. You found out, PR'd in some shit, and you're hanging on the stage with savages, and like just those experiences. And I'm sure you're the same way, like when you start competing in those bigger shows, and like that of course everybody wants to win, but it's like I feel like what you're getting out of it, you're learning in the experience, just being around that. I think like even when I got to compete with you guys and against you, it gave me a different perspective on my training and what to expect with competitors and everything else. And that's it definitely helps. It has progressed me very much so. And it's like, I don't feel like some people are willing to do that. Like when I did your that show and that year, like I just went into that year like, all right, I'm done with all the amateur shows. They're allowing anybody to just sign up for pro classes. So I'm going to dedicate my next half a year to getting my ass completely kicked, but I'm going to do every pro show I can, and with bigger dudes and everything else. But then it felt like when I went to OSG and stuff, I didn't do the best. It's strength, blah, blah, but they weren't scary anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these are dudes I watch on TV, Nikolai Myers, all these dudes, people you watch and I take advice from for years, and I'm standing right next to him. But it's like, you ain't Mitch. Like, fuck you know what I mean? Because your standard has grown. It's a standard that hope to exceed one day, but that's kind of the standard that's in my mind, right? So when people are doing things, it's like,
it helps.
Yeah,
it helps your confidence.
Yeah, right.
What a lot of those guys do is they look at it as a comp, but they also look at it as a job.
Exactly.
They'll have good days and they'll have bad days, and they just look at it as a job. And then if one event didn't go very well for them, they just mark it up and they move on, and done deal.
Right.
Like Trey Mitchell. Trey Mitchell won this one, North America's, and we're BSing at dinner and stuff. And a lot of those guys at that level, they won't dwell on any particular event.
Right.
Like if they did mediocre in the log, they literally just stop talking about it the second they're done with it, and they move on to the next and move on. Done deal.
Well, that's one thing that I've noticed. Like when we were at the World Finals this last year, I noticed that some guys would just bomb a complete and total event, and they'd be like, well, day one kind of sucked. Day two's tomorrow. Let's just focus on what I can do tomorrow. I feel like it's a mindset switch that you have to do competing at these world levels, because there is so many people that are going to absolutely dominate events, and then there's going to be other people that don't. Like, it's just going to be one of those things. And if you can just stay consistent, it doesn't matter whether you trash one event. It's still just there's way more to do.
100%, spot on, and that's exactly how they look at it, and that's kind of what I learned from that meet. And even though I've been doing it for a while, you're still learning stuff every day. Good. And those guys, that taught me a lot.
Right, you're always a student. You're always a student. Yeah.
they're not judging me at all for jumping in. They thought it was pretty cool. They're like, "Hey, hell yeah, jump in and see what you can do."
Right. That's amazing, dude. Like, even those like top pros, Mitch, all those, like, we got the pleasure of meeting him. Yeah, nice dude, fucking so great. And that's what I mean, like, world class athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to Bobby Thompson all the time. He's
Bobby.
my coach, so I talk to him all the time, and it's really cool to get kind of his perspective on everything because obviously you just saw him at the Arnold and whatnot. Like, he's a pretty top class athlete, and talking to him, he's just like, yeah, just don't sweat the little shit. Just focus on what you can do, and everything will come together. And it's like, man, if a guy who is a world's strongest man competitor is saying that kind of shit, like, he probably knows a thing or two.
It's very accurate, very, very accurate. It's cool getting.
Sorry, go ahead.
All I was saying is it's cool getting their insight on that stuff. You know, because after the comp, they're just a regular guy.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure.
They're just a guy.
Right.
That's kind of what we got to peak with being at OSG this last year is Mitchell Hooper and, Trey Mitchell was out there, and man, they were just walking around talking shit like the rest of us. Like,
which is so cool.
They are
like,
too.
Right? You know what I mean? That's literally what they do. And I love that, and they're just giving you honest advice. It's the same advice they go through because they go through it just as much as we do.
Yeah.
They've just been doing it longer and they understand. So, and that's just a sport in itself. Is like it's a true honesty of just like trying to help the other dude. Like, I'll give you the answer, brother. You still got to do the fucking walk. You still got to do it all. But here's your answers. You know what I mean? So,
it's super, super cool. And like Trey, we got to know Trey really well in Canada because we landed at the same time in the flight. Landed at the same time, and it was Trey and I and Lacey, and we had a chauffeur that drove us up to our hotel. It was like a 2-hour drive.
Oh shit!
So we hung out the whole way up there, and then we hung out the next day and hung out the comps. So we got to hang out quite a bit. And he's no different than the next guy. You know?
Right.
We laugh, and I'll poke fun at him, and he's poking fun at me. And I thought, forget it, it's been around the world 10 times.
Isn't that's what I mean? They're just humble individuals. It's amazing. I love that.
It was funny when we were sitting there talking to Trey Mitchell, and we had gotten kind of to the end of our conversation. We were just hanging out waiting for him to go up. Yeah. And we were talking to him. He had just snapped his Achilles.
His Achilles right after
So we were talking to him about that, and we're like, well, cool. Appreciate the talk, man. We'll catch you around. He kind of just sat there like, oh, wow, these people like look at me like a normal person.
Yeah, like he was literally, he hung back waiting. It was that awkwardness of like, you want to take a picture? You guys want to sign? You need something? And we're just like, all right, brother. Talk to you later. And but it was really good, like, just to have those kind of
because I feel like so many people do fangirl over all of these big strongman competitors, and really I feel like a lot of them just want to be just looked at like a normal person.
Yeah, they do. That's all they want to do. They just want to be just treated like another guy. And I'm not sure. Do you guys know Spencer Emick at all? He's been the world's strongest man. He's been on the top of the food chain for a while.
My bad.
I guarantee you, if you
I was gonna say, I'm gonna look him up right now. It sounds kind of familiar. What's his name? Spencer.
So him and I have known each other since 2010, and he works for Vermeer. Vermeer is do you know who Vermeer is?
Yeah.
He's their sales manager. So him and I will bullshit back and forth about construction equipment. We'll talk gym stuff.
What's his name? Spencer what?
Emick.
Spencer Remick.
Remick. Oh, okay. Remick.
Yep. He's just kind of a good old small town Iowa boy. And then we ran into each other in Vegas at a big expo we were at together. Our companies were there, but we ran into each other working there.
Yeah.
And he's the same way. He's just a sales manager, and I'm a sales guy. And he's just like, this is what I do during the day. And, weekends I'm strongman and stuff, but just treat me like another guy.
And it is really cool to find like that common ground, right? Because like we were talking to Trey about just like, honestly, just about stupid shit. It wasn't anything really to do with strongman besides like, hey, how's the Achilles tendon healing up? Like, how's the recovery going? And then we were like, honestly, we started talking about West Virginia and just like stupid shit, and he was all about it. I feel like he just didn't want to really talk too much about strongman because he just has to so much and so often.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah. So another hard question for you. What is your And this could be any competition, doesn't have to be a series or anything. What is your favorite and your least favorite comp that you've done?
My favorite comp is actually it's crazy because you would think I would say something higher level, I guess, but my favorite comp was probably one of my favorite top three anyway is Minnesota Strongest Man. It was like 2013, and I went 5 years in a row, and I started going there as a middleweight when it was NAS.
Okay.
And I took like third, and I had to fight my way up, and I took second another year, and then next thing you know, I moved up to heavyweights, and then every year I was just like second, third, fourth, and I was bouncing back and forth. But I always had such a really fun time going there. And then my fifth time going there, I was a heavyweight at that time. I won all 5 events, and I took first. And it wasn't necessary that I took first, but it was just fun because here I am. I worked my ass off for 5 years in a row to do well at this meet. Second, third, fourth, and that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden I win it. But then I won all 5 events.
That's dominate. That's not winning. That's dominating.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever even
That's cleaning house. That's just, that's
those
huge.
events they're old school events. For example, the stone series was 10 stones.
Holy shit.
You couldn't use tacky, and they all weighed the same. They all weighed 240 pounds.
Wow.
And here you're thinking it's only 240. Well, there's
no
10
tack and
no tacky.
Yeah.
And they were kind of in like a horseshoe. So there was just details like that really made the meet really, really fun for me.
Yeah.
And here I got all 10 stones, and I just cleaned the house, and I just did awesome.
That's so
And that was probably one of my funnest.
That's definitely got to be a good feeling for you to do that all, 4 or 5 years, and then finally just come in and absolutely just destroy.
Yeah. And definitely. And it was on the water. It's just a cool event, cool meet.
For sure.
Right.
My least favorite, and I said this today, actually it came up today in conversation. It was this 2014 or 13, somewhere in there. It was Nationals. It was in Denison, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, but it was just a shit show of a comp. It was Nationals. It was out in this parking lot, but there's no lights in the parking lot. And next thing you know, we're deadlifting cars, in the rain, in the dark, in the rain.
Bro.
And there wasn't anything about that meet that was like super, super enjoyable.
Yeah.
There was a guy, he still competes a little bit. He's out of Chicago. He doesn't compete much anymore. I forget his name, but he'll come to me. But first event, I was in the super heavyweight class at this time. And first event was axle clean and press. It was about at the time, I think it was like 310.
Okay.
Or so for reps. You had to clean and press every one. He gets up there and he blew both knees at the same time.
Oh, his patellar tendons.
Yes, yeah. So he cleaned it. He got up to his chest, and as he starts pressing, both knees buckle and he tore both. So it was just kind of a shit show of a comp. It was Nationals, and it was just a shitty comp. And that one was one I kind of regret going to.
For sure.
It was just everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
That sounds so
not
bad.
necessarily for me. But
and we get that, and it ruins that vibe, like we were talking about, right? Like, we've been to certain shows, even Nationals in 2022 was a little bit like that. Like they fired one of our judges right in front of us, and like I swear, and they're arguing, and then then like when I did my deadlift, like we were sitting there, doing max deadlift in a line, and I in that setting alone, but that's Nationals, but it's not a show. It's just really you and a judge in a bar, right? Because like it's so big, it's just a fucking line of people, and we're sitting there going through this thing, and we weren't, after they fired this, they freaked out, and then like I'm sitting here like prepping this whole time for this deadlift, like trying to get this new PR. And and you're sitting in a line, and you got your belt, and you use your belt as like a fanny pack. I got my phone in here, I got jamming, I got salts in my pocket, got all this stuff. And she yelled at me, and she goes, "You have 1 minute to pull that bar." And I mean, I'm literally just like standing here like, what the hell's going on? And she's like, I attempted.
First she hired him to start
that's
keeping
right.
everybody's score and everything. He's like, I'm a fucking athlete. Like, no, I'm not doing this. So,
I completely
really?
Yeah,
I swear,
he did it for like 5 or 6 athletes, and then she was like, all right, if you're coming up next, you just go to the back of the line. And then she called his name.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like obviously in La La Land, just kind of doing his own thing because he's at the back of the line anyways. She's like, Mike, you have 1 minute to get up here and pull this. If not, you're getting a 0.
Yes,
and he was just like, what the fuck? He clips his belt with his phone in his belt, does the pull, gets done. And I was like, how did you not snap your phone in half?
Yeah, I was just sitting there jamming at salt and everything else. It was such a shitty show. Like, and it was just
Which nationals was that?
that was the one out in
New Hampshire,
2022.
So that was a USS one.
USS, and like we love
Yep.
USS, and we know all those dudes, but it just. Yeah, it was just so all day. It was like that, like just problem after problem.
Gosh.
It was just kind of like, and that's what we talked about. We were like, we spent so much money to come out here and to do this show and all this stuff, and then like for us, it was of course you have good events, bad events, but the show, the hype, the vibe, kind of just sucked. And then so that was like the next year, I had my invite for nationals, and I didn't even go.
Yeah.
I was like, nah. I was like, I had a bad taste from last year, but they're doing nationals this year in Denver. So I was like, okay. I was like, let's do it for sure. And I'm excited for this year because it's a super strong man. Like lately, the difference. Like we'll actually get into that here in a minute. It's a very strong man, like
Esque.
esque show, right? Freaking very static, but you also got your moving events. But nowadays, and let me ask you, since you've been in the game a minute. How are you feeling with the evolve? I love the evolvement. I'm sure you do. The strongman is so much bigger than it's ever been, especially in like the last 5 years, I feel. But the changing of the sport, I feel like it's not so static anymore. Everything's a medley nowadays. Everything is like the old school-esque powerlifters / strongman can't hang on today's stages, I feel like, because you need to be a well-rounded, well-fit, well-statically athlete.
Yes. We actually just kind of funny. We talked about this very recently. I think it was yesterday or today at the gym, and I'm not too big on it.
Yeah.
In fact, we talked about nationals too yesterday. In fact,
Really?
and if I'll kind of bounce back and forth there, but back in the day I like how they used to do nationals is if they had like silver, gold, platinum meets.
Yeah.
And if it was a silver level show, that meant the promoter was pretty inexperienced and maybe first place would go, and that's it.
Okay.
And then gold level show, the promoter was more experienced. Top 2 would go per se, and then platinum, top 3 would go. I think they had silver, bronze, gold type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was harder to get to nationals. If you qualify for nationals, you earned it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Now it's everybody can go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a fan of that because I don't think they should have 600 athletes at nationals when I'm glad people are going, but at the same time, there's probably a third of them that really
deserve to be there. Absolutely. Like how many big shows have you been to? It's their first show. It's like, it's like, come on.
Well, and there's also people that win novice that get their qualification that go to nationals, and it's like, hold on, you're missing a class here. You need to at least do your open class, win in your open class, because if you're a 350-pound guy going up against a bunch of 200-pound novice guys, and then all of a sudden you're this open, heavyweight or super heavyweight going to nationals, like, why are you even there? It blows my mind that it's that easy.
It blows my mind too. And when we host meets, I watch these guys, and if they sign up for nationals and they get there for weigh-ins, and I start talking to them, and I realize they're not a novice, I'll move them. Right now.
There you go.
And some guys have got pissed at me, but it's not fair to the other guys that are real novices.
100%. They're sandbaggers. They're trophy chasers. It's bullshit.
They're just trying to get into the meet. They get to nationals, and I don't like it.
Absolutely.
So I flat out move them.
Good.
Because they're going up against a guy that, he's benching maybe 185, and he just got to the gym, and you're going to go in there and just crush his confidence and then stomp on his day. And then I was like, nope, we're not doing that crap.
I agree 100%.
So we'll move those guys. But as far as even the equipment, some of that stuff has kind of bugged me because I don't know. I like the old school stuff where it's maybe farmers down, yoke back, or just yoke down, done to you.
Yeah.
Or maybe there is a little medley here and there, but I feel like it all should be just medleys, and I feel like they're doing that because of maybe it's because the equipment sponsors, or maybe Cerberus said, "Hey, let's do this because we got too many bags. We want to sell some bags."
It's true. I mean, I agree.
Hard to say, but I'm not too fond of how some of these shows are running. It just doesn't make sense. Like if you got a sandbag medley and you got a sled to the other end and you got to fill that sled, like that's cool. That's old school strongman. But
Yeah.
some of the stuff is just asking for injuries.
Dude, right. Like Worlds, they had us do the sandbag, right? Drag. That's pretty basic. But then you want me to wear a what? You want me to wear a ruck? Like, what kind of shit is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Stuff
come
like
on,
that.
bro. So,
Yeah. And then even I wasn't too big on the Arnold this year where the amateurs had 3 sets of Denny Stone
yeah, I saw that.
Like that's not true. That's not traditional to what the Denny Stones are.
It's facts, right? That you're just making it
Why are we
light.
trying to reinvent the wheel?
Exactly.
Well, and I'd also seen that their overhead medley was like 7 implements. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it was
so overdone.
It was random. They did I think it was an axle, barbell with chains, sandbag to shoulder, log, axle.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? I was like, that is a shit show. And it's not even entertaining to watch. I saw it from the side and I was like, it's just this fucking pile of implant. I was like, what is going on here? Like, that's just ridiculous. There's no need for that.
But then they also got to think about, the promoter needs to think about, is your help staff. Is your guys going to want to set up, reset every single medley like that? After every single athlete? Like, that's just beating them up all day long.
Dude, and they have the hardest job ever.
Yeah, like, they work out more than the athletes do.
Being a volunteer for a strongman comp is no joke. Like that.
It's not a joke at all.
Yeah.
When we host meets, I try to think about the helpers. I try to think about the athletes.
Absolutely.
And we'll do things like, if it's framed down, I'll make sure there's a forklift available. And
I love that.
I'll have a forklift guy move the frame back.
Yes.
Or move the yoke back with a forklift.
Yoke or something like that for sure.
Stuff like that.
It's
just to keep it moving, but also to save on them. I don't want them getting hurt.
Absolutely. I like that.
So, well, we are.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I would just add, I think a lot of these younger promoters are getting too full of piss and vinegar, and they're just
a little too ambitious.
Trying to do things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. And
for sure.
Yeah, instead of putting together all of these implements, why don't you start doing payouts?
Facts.
Yeah.
We are coming down to the end of the interview here, just because we've got only another 6 minutes on this.
This thing's gonna do the timeout thing
again. We normally, it's funny because like we normally don't do like Zoom meetings all that much. I think this is our third.
Okay.
So the $15 or $16 a month to get that upgraded package doesn't quite make sense. But before we let you go, is there any kind of final thoughts of when you first started Strongman to now, what you would do differently, or kind of what you have to say to our audience that would help aspiring athletes along a little more?
Good question. I really like that one too. When I started, I didn't have anybody to lean on, so I made the mistake I didn't realize I should still do the compound lifts like squat, deadlift, bench, overhead during the week. I just thought maybe I should train the events every day of the week,
all the time.
So
we did the same. We did the same.
I had to learn on my own. I kind of learned by just messing up,
for sure.
So I didn't focus as much on the compound lifts as I should have. And that's one thing, if I had to go back, I would change that. Yeah. So I try to tell guys in our gym all the time, like, you're in a volume stage, stay in that, because that's going to help your bigger lifts.
Yeah.
Have a core workout, or maybe if you want help, ask somebody for help, but get a core group and then do your strongman events on the weekend.
For sure.
Worry about getting strong in the gym and then technique and strongman stuff on the weekends.
For sure. And that's just going to help huge with longevity for them to actually attain their goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Longevity. And there wasn't any coaches back then when I started.
Right.
Nobody was coaching. So I was messing around just trying to figure it out. And I think a lot of guys were doing that.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Even when Matt, and you did that before that time. And I don't remember what years Matt met you, but I was a civilian at the time. And so when I heard about strongman, you don't know. Where nowadays I can run into someone at the place, I'll have a shirt on or something, like, hey man, do you compete in strongman? They at least kind of understand what the sport is because it's grown so much. But back in your day, that's a cult sport. People don't.
It was.
You know what I mean? But I love that, dude.
We tell people, and you guys have probably seen this before, but if they have blue Ray-Bans on and blue Ray-Ban knee sleeves, they're old school and
super fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
That's funny.
Oh,
any last minute, oh, sorry, buddy.
We want to tell the people.
Yeah.
Mitch.
What
Tell
do
the
you
people.
want to say? Got any shout outs or
Yeah,
sponsors or anything that you want to?
I don't have any sponsors. I just it's just me and my gym and my wife, and we normally pay our way. And I've been fortunate to have a couple sponsors here and there help pay ways, but
Yeah.
I don't really have like a full-time sponsor per se. But I guess if anyone's looking for a meet to come to soon in a month,
Yep.
April 6th, North Dakota Strongman, we're
Yes.
hosting it, Full Circle Strength Systems.
Absolutely.
We have good athletes coming in. We're good promoters. We feel like we have a good gym.
Absolutely.
We give out cash prizes all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a trip for some, but if they could come up to North Dakota, that'd be super cool for
Huge.
them. It would be fun.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So on that note, you guys, we'll put the link in the bio. So you guys check out Full Circle Strength gym, their logo, their everything. And then, North Dakota's strongest is, April 6th, Williston, North Dakota. 6 show, huge payout. So make sure you'll check the link below, and you guys can find that on Iron Podium as well. And
Yep.
yeah, dude.
It's unsanctioned too.
And it's an unsanctioned. So this is just for funsies to be a savage and get paid out.
I was going to say the payout's always worth
dude,
it.
So take that trip.
And the experience.
And the experience, right? So
Definitely.
meeting new communities, different gyms. That's where you meet brothers. Like, I mean, we wouldn't even have this conversation if I went up and went.
Heck yeah.
So that's what we do. So yeah, you guys keep your eyes out and keep an eye out for Mitch, because he's coming up in that game. I'm telling you. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Heck yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right on. Well, it was good talking to you, Mitch. We'll have to have you on
Good
here
talking to you.
in a
bro.
couple of months and kind of check in, see how things are doing.
Yeah, brother.
I appreciate the time. I appreciate the invite.
No, dude. Thank you for
I'll
being
see you
on,
again
brother.
sometime.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you again. And
See you too.
all right, brother.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. We'll
No,
see you guys
thank
later.
you, bud.
Bye.
Thanks.
See you, dude.
Bye.
Perfect.